Some folk are born made to fly the banners, oh, they're red, white and blue. And when the bard plays hey to the king, oh, they point the trebuchet at ye, Lord. 'Tisn't me, I ain't no nobleman's kin, nay. 'Tisn't me, fortunate I ain't been, nay. Some folk are born silver spoon in hand, oh, don't they help themselves, Lord. Yet when the taxman...
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Unfortunate Sons, a 3BR actual play live stream. This one is set in the world of Westeros using the Warhammer Fantasy RP 4th edition rules. We'll be following a group of mercenaries as they attempt to gain glory, fame, wealth, riches, power, and everything that comes along with that in the hopes of upsetting the system, creating titles of their own, and finally having their daddy's love. Speaking of their daddy's love, we're going to start off with Markas in the upper left-hand corner.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'll be playing Markas Storm, the Bastard of Blackhaven. I do not have my daddy's love, but hopefully one day I'll earn it. I also hit things really hard with that hammer.
Next up, we have Tom.
Hey folks, I play Mid, who is a jester by day and a spy for his old Valerian family at night.
All right. After that, we've got Frag. Or Leslie.
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Leslie. I play Frag. I play the street urchin who just wants food, man. The next hot meal and safe place to sleep, really. And this is the best opportunity to do that. Using my thieving skills to get what I want.
You know, it's working out really good for Frag so far. Frag has seen more money and comfort in the last 2 weeks
ever.
than ever.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we have Julio, who you know from everywhere.
I'm everywhere, man. Hi, everybody. Again, I'm Julio. I play Roderick Harlaw, the salty priest, who is unpleasant, old, smells of low tide, and has taken a liking to these kids that he started following just because the Bastard of Blackhaven seemed like the chosen one of his god. But we'll see where he ends up. Hopefully, not too dead.
You missed last session. You don't know that Rolf almost died. Next up,
I watched last session.
Next up, we have Rich.
Yep, I play Rolf, the fledgling maester of healing, learning other things as we go along. He's enjoying patching up everybody, and actually last week, as you heard, I had to actually patch up myself with a little help with a fate point. So, so that's where we are, so trying to survive.
It was a little tough last week. So
it was.
Part of what we all love about Game of Thrones is the fact that it is incredibly deadly. You never know who's going to die, and Warhammer Fantasy RP I chose as the system for this campaign because it brings a lot of that with it. Now, you guys lost a fate point last week because of bad luck.
Because you've got the healing potions.
Yeah, because you guys forgot you had healing potions. So this week, because I don't know if you guys can see my shirt. I got my Mando shirt on.
This is the way.
This is the way.
I am feeling very sick.
This is the May. So I'm gonna do something special. I'm gonna do something special for you guys tonight. If between the 5 of you, you can answer the Mandalorian trivia question that I'm about to pose to you, I will give Rolf back his fate point. So, in the latest season of The Mandalorian, there is a character played by Sasha Banks, the wrestler. What is that character's name? I will give you guys 20 seconds starting now.
I don't know who Sasha Banks is, so I don't know which character we're talking about.
She's one of the Night Owls.
She is one of the Night Owls. Yes, she is.
Is it like Casca?
Yeah, it's It's Casca Reeves.
That's right. Yes, it is. It is Casca Reeves, played by Sasha Banks, who supposedly is coming back in season 3. So I'm looking forward to seeing her. I've got myself a lot of love for the Mandalorian and what.
Oh yeah.
So Rolf, you can go ahead and re-add your fate point after last week's
Nice.
debacle.
Yay!
I'm not going to do that often, but that's the first one. And you know, it's May the 4th. It just so happens that since I can't add lightsabers to tonight's game,
Or can you?
or can
Hey,
I?
The force
We,
is with us.
we can call it a late birthday present for Rolf.
That's it,
There you go.
yes.
That's true. And it was his birthday
Yes.
present and everything. Yeah, that sounds great. All right, so channel announcements. We have the
Yes.
challenge currently going on to try and get another cast and crew gaming day. Right now, it seems like people still really like watching us be ridiculous on Valheim. Thank you, Tom, for bringing your lightsaber into things. Just as last week, you guys can spend channel points or bits to help the party out. If you spend 1,000 channel points, you will give them a reroll, which is a fortune point. That will have to be used tonight. And you can do the same thing with 100 bits. It is a new month, so those of you who have been Prime subscribers, remember that you do need to renew your subscription, and we appreciate and love your support because that's how we get to keep doing more and new content, which I have some announcements at the end of the night that I will be teasing some of that new content. So, before we move on to the nonsense of last week, let's go ahead with a little bit of a recap. The Unfortunate Sons were hired by Lord Arston Selmy to escort his cousin, Lady Alira, to her wedding with the Red Apple Fossaways of Cider Hall. She is marrying Sir Brian, a minor Fossaway, but their marriage is good for the alliance. Now, the trip was mostly uneventful except for a terrible storm one night and the bandits that nearly murdered Rolf. With those bandits, you guys picked up a new follower in the form of Xander the Archer, who nobody quite trusts, but he is such a nice dude. And then you guys arrived in Cider Hall. Cider Hall is currently a giant festival showing the excess of nobility, spending a ton of money. The only thing that Frag and Mid are in favor of the fact that the poor people are getting to eat a ton of food that normally they wouldn't have access to. You guys were then hired by the Fossaways to guard Sir Brian's room as they were a little short on guards. And then somehow,
And no and then.
And then somehow, when Sir Brian came into his room, there was a dead hooker, despite your best efforts. Someone suggested that we do a 2 hours previous kind of thing
Dun, dun.
as a crime, as a police procedural that we're going into. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. You have 2 hours. I'm gonna go in order, starting with Marcus.
All right.
Because Marcus, you're at the top of my screen, so you're always gonna go first. Marcus,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You're currently on watch. The watch has started. This is what these 2 hours are essentially what you guys are hanging out doing during the watch.
I'd just be basically checking to see if there was any way in or out of that room that we didn't know about.
So you were asked not to go in the room. You guys made an exception for the sake of Frag, because you figured Frag could do what Frag want to do.
Well, then I would have told Frag, when you go inside, first of all, no cod piecing just yet, which is the magic word for stealing.
No.
Well, just yet. We when we're not guarding the stuff, then we could steal it. But it looks bad if something just appears on our watch.
Oh, okay. I get it. Yeah.
Okay. And when you're in there, knock on the walls, look under the bed, see if there's any air coming from any crevices. Because if someone, this is an old castle, there might be ways in and out of that trap doors, hidden something, doorways.
It's not just dirt. Oh.
All right, so
Okay.
go ahead. So those are your commands. You're out in the hallway. Are you doing anything else while you're out in the hallway?
I'm just pacing around, checking, make sure there's no one hanging around that doesn't look like they belong there.
Okay.
I'm assuming he's not there, so I can't really chat him up.
He is not there, no.
Okay. So,
Um,
so yeah, basically just making my presence known, walking the hallway.
as you're walking the hallway, about an hour and change into your shift, Triss walks up and she brings you um, a decanter of tea, coffee to
Okay,
keep you awake.
appreciate it.
You guys make some small talk, nothing out of this world, and that's it for your 2 hours.
After she leaves, but before anything else happens, I'm like, Rolf, can you check this to make sure it's on the up and up? You never
Sure.
know. You never know. And I know we've been spending time together, walking around and chatting, but this is Westeros, and you can never be too sure.
All right, all right. So, Rolf, go ahead and give me a. What is it? That would be a. Well, rather than me tell you, how about you tell me what you're going to try and use? Because I don't know what skills you actually have.
Well, let's
And there's a
see.
couple that would be good. Like you could use medicine, you could use craft apothecary.
Yeah, I mean, I have evaluate, but I don't. I mean,
Evaluate's
healing. I don't.
yeah, evaluate's really appraise.
Yeah. So perception. Me. That's melee. This is entertainment, art. I really only have heal under my channeling.
All right, so go ahead and use heal, and let's see how that goes for you.
Come on, money.
Money. You know
Dang.
that
Hey.
like this is not your thing, right? By the way, if you want to spend some experience points on Profession Alchemist now, I will let you as a one-time purchase tonight. Or
Okay.
not tonight, but after the session. Uh,
Yep.
you know that it looks perfectly healthy. It is a caffeinated beverage of Dornish origins.
Right. Yes, Roderick. This looks good. It's Dornish, but it's definitely got some caffeine, so it's going to probably keep you awake. So
Uh,
it's not made of
Oh,
bilberries.
that's good. All right, so I share it out with the rest of the mercenary company, and I'm like, here you guys go.
except for Frag, who's
Keep you on
currently
your
hiding
toes.
in the closet.
Frick. Well, it's 2 hours, right? So
All right.
she's not there just yet.
So, all right. So next up, we have Mid.
So, assumedly, when we are led into the premises, there is someone who led us into the
Yep,
premise in order
the
to do our
seneschal,
guard duty.
the seneschal, whose name was George.
I would like to speak to George before he
Okay,
departs.
sounds good.
So I say to the seneschal, George, it seems to me slightly strange that you've just decided to add guards specifically to Lord Fossaway's quarters. I understand that you require more guards when this is a larger, more debaucherous festival than anticipated. However, I figured that these quarters would have been tended to as one of your first priorities, not the last. So my question is, has something recently occurred where you expect there to be some sort of foul play in this marriage union? And if so, what should we be on the lookout for?
Give me a charm roll just to see how you roll and see how much he likes you.
If only charm were my thing.
And it's a critical. He looks at you and he says, "Oh my God, you have no idea how bad things have been. We have more partygoers than we expected. We have people being arrested for drunken, disorderly behavior. We have a man in a red and white striped shirt who keeps being seen throughout the town. And so our veteran guards are being placed. Our veteran guards are being placed elsewhere throughout the town, and so we figured this was an easy job because it was inside the castle, and so we didn't need to trust anybody of higher level at this."
uh, Mid nodges sagely on his understanding and say, "Excellent, I completely understand." Um, is there like an honorific for a seneschal? Your lord, highness, something, anything? No.
You can usually get away with calling most nobility my lord with no issues.
Okay.
Even though they're not necessarily lords per se, but it's at least an acknowledgement of their ranking above you.
Gotcha. Mid will say my lord as opposed to my lord because he's attempting to appear greater than that of what she is currently. So I entirely understand, my lord. Happy to guard over these premises. So you expect nothing out of the ordinary. There's no anticipation around foul play, anything.
No, from my understanding, everyone's thrilled about the marriage, and it brings good business for both Harvest Hall and Cider Hall.
Okay. Mid nods. I noticed that we weren't greeted at the gate by Lord Fossaway, meaning sort of the elder. I forget the name of the. Any particular reason for that? They smile upon this union, I expect.
So, Lord Fossaway smiles upon this union because it brings an alliance with House Selmy, which is not a particularly strong house, but it is a house with a old and powerful tradition. He, however, himself has more important things to do.
Understood. Okay. In which case, I'll spend the remainder of my 2 hours talking to my co-guardsman Xander,
Okay.
and just generally speaking, him giving me the ideas what the mission of Unfortunate Sons is. So we're mercenaries who are looking to make a name for ourselves, also do better for the world and those who are downtrodden, which I kind of think aligns with Xander's whole "I am a bandit because there's nothing else for me to do if I want to survive" shtick.
Right.
Just generally speaking, increasing the chances that he will ever stab us in the back like the bastard that he is.
Okay.
He wants, I want to be a bastard like we're the type of bastard that we are.
Okay. He's totally down. He's like, I've had a lot of recruiting pitches, but this is the first time that I've gotten a chance to get in on the ground floor of something interesting.
I say, and if things pan out, you won't end up in binders for doing something illegal.
Always a plus. Always a plus. Yeah.
That's Mid's 2 hours.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And you're creating a good rapport with Xander overall. All right, next up, what's Frag up to? Frag is in the closet, but she's gonna get the chance to search the room a little bit since
Yeah,
since you guys
definitely.
snuck in.
Because this is the first time I've had free access to a noble's room. I definitely want to poke my nose in everything.
All right.
Because I'm like that. Oh boy.
So you are entirely like enthralled with everything. I'm making it an easy roll. You're actually going to get some success on that because you're taking your time. Really, Julio? Really? I get notifications about that now. Oh, actually, everybody does. That's kind of cool. Um, so,
What?
so on the stream, we just had a pop-up that said Smoking Jackal has purchased the Land of Ice and Snow logo shirt from our store. The store was going to be the announcement at the end of the stream that we now have a store. If one of you could please link the store in chat so other people can see it. There's a couple of shirts on there, and we'll be adding some stuff to it.
Oops.
Oh. Nice. Nice.
Just so you know, the notification that I bought a shirt appeared on yesterday's stream, I think, but I don't know if anyone saw.
That's funny. Yeah, we are selling shirts. It's got our 3B logo and our Land of Ice and Snow logo for our Unfortunate Sons fans. Just you wait, we've got things planned for you guys as well. So Frag, you're kind of distracted as you go around. You look at you're opening drawers and you're opening armoires because they're not really closets per se. That's not how castles were built. You're opening armoires. You're looking around. You've never seen such solid walls in your life. You grew up dirt poor in tenements, and this place looks impregnable. You're like, people attack castles? Why would they even do such a thing?
Yeah.
You do manage to find
Like,
some candied fruit in one of the drawers, and I'm gonna ask you to make a willpower check to not pocket a couple. Just
Oh yeah, because I was told cod piece.
You were told not to, but
Yeah. Willpower is
Cool, right? It's cool.
yes, it is cool, right?
Oh, there's willpower. Never mind.
Yeah, I clicked on willpower.
That's fine. So you
Oh, I see it.
you grab yourself a
Yeah.
hand. All right, fine. I'll let you actually.
I'm sorry. I just saw WP,
All right.
clicked on
So
it.
you go ahead and you see the candied fruit and you're like, Abu looking at the giant ruby. You're like, and then you're like, oh right, but don't touch anything.
Close. I'm tempted. Oh, I'm hella tempted.
So
Oh,
is there
God.
any places that you're giving particular attention to so that I can?
Um,
Mid wants to look for any kind of hidden compartments and things, right?
Well, right. You did tell her that, and she is working on that.
yes. I guess the floor.
The floor? Okay. So you like get under the bed and you look underneath the bed and you look all around. You don't see anything.
Yeah.
After about an hour and a half, there's a knock on the door, which was the signal that they told you it's time for you to hide in case anybody comes.
Yeah.
All right. Next, Roderick, you are patrolling the hallway and the stairwell to what's going on.
I don't really have anything in particular that I think Roderick will be doing other than slacking off.
Okay.
Because he does not care for protecting all these mainlanders, especially these the Stormlanders. So yeah, he's probably gonna walk away at a couple of points to have a bit of mead or whatnot.
Okay. So Roderick is not entirely sober as the evening progresses. Got it.
Well, even if
Definitely
it's
not.
the Stormlands, this is the Reach. These are like flowery
Yeah, these are
maids,
actually even worse if we're going to be technical.
silk wearing knights. Like this is the worst land for Roderick.
Do you drink any
Like
of
they
the?
probably give him side glances and shit because he smells like low tide and it's dressed in rags.
Do you drink any of the Dornish coffee?
Roderick is nothing if not adventurous, so he's definitely gonna try some.
You drink some of the Dornish coffee, and you are thoroughly disappointed in that it harshes your alcohol buzz. Coffee plus alcohol, it's just not working out for you.
So, quick one, lesson learned.
It does taste good though, because it's nice. Um, Rolf, you are also out in the hallway, sort of hanging about, moving through the foyer and whatnot. Do you want to search the foyer for other entrances?
Yeah, I guess we need to. I'm probably not going to be the best in like searching. But yeah, I mean,
All right, so go ahead and give me a perception check as you search the foyer for other means of entrance.
perception. All right, Miami, give me a good roll.
Nope, that's not it.
No,
So,
that's not it, Miami.
This ain't it, fam.
you look around, but there's just
I'm wired for sound on the coffee.
it is just so overdone and so ornate that you're like, I don't know, whatever. And so, with all that being done, you're done with your criminal proceedings. As we heard last week, Sir Brian walks in, greets the people that he sees along the way. He's actually moderately polite to everybody. He walks in and then screams like a girl.
You literally scream like a girl.
He does scream, but it's not like a girl. No, he comes in, he's like, "Wah!" And then he walks out, and who did I have him grab last week? Was it Mid?
Me.
Yeah,
Mid.
Yeah, it
he
was
grabs Mid, and he says, "I need you to fix this." And you're like, "What?" And he shows you the dead woman on the.
I'm expecting like Frag to be like in his pajamas eating fucking grapes out of a golden bowl. And when I see, dead lady of comfort, I'm like, holy. Mid's not expecting. He's like, I look at Lord Fossman and go,
She's not mine.
sir, no one understood. I have a few questions for you, if you will.
Okay.
Do you know her? Granted, she's not yours. Do you know her?
You know what? Roll me a d10.
A D10.
Just a d10. But maybe this is actually a hooker that he has frequented.
6.
No, he's like, no, I do not know her. I haven't been to those types of establishments in some time. As I was preparing for the marriage, I did hear about a Baratheon tradition called a stag party, and we did go to some places, but I did not see her.
Okay. This is obviously disruptive to this union. Do you know of anyone who would wish to disrupt the proceedings today?
So let's be clear. This guy is clearly like a fop. He is a knight, but he is not like he is not a great warrior by any stretch of the imagination. He says, "No, I'm nobody, and she's nobody. We're just getting married. She'll have my
Is there
children."
any business implications of this union that you think someone might wish to disrupt, or political connotations of this union?
Let's give him an intelligence check here.
As they're talking, I heard the yell. I come walking through the door, like, "Is everything okay in here?"
And you see a dead hooker.
Oh boy.
Same dead hooker. There's not multiple.
I guess I'll peek out from my hidey hole and be at this point because I'm just like, oh. Hello?
You peek out and you see the dead woman on the bed.
I'm gonna go back in.
Wise choice.
No, that's not my problem.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, oh no.
So he's like, no, I mean, I don't have any. I have a small manor. She has a small dowry. It fit in 3 wagons. I mean, that's not that important.
Jesus.
All right. Am I hearing this commotion?
Yes, you are hearing this commotion because you are right outside in the foyer.
All right, so I think I'm going to go in and because I'm heard somebody scream like a little bitch, and I'm like, what is that?
So
I go
by
in.
the way, absolutely posts up in the foyer. Arrow knocked. He's like, nobody's coming in here.
Good.
Thank you.
Good man.
I look at Lord Foswig and I say, no one passed any of us, I assume. I look around like, Rolf.
No one got past me.
Everybody says,
No.
Other ways into this room are there?
So
There must be a way into this room.
So Brian looks at you and he goes, I don't live here.
Okay.
This is a guest chamber.
That makes no sense to me, but okay.
He tells you, I'm a cousin. I have my own house that I live in. My uncle he starts like doing the family tree in his head, and he's like, cousin? I guess he's also my cousin. My cousin arranged for this marriage and is hosting it, and so I'm staying in the guest chambers.
Okay.
Rolf, can you make sure she's well and dead?
Yeah. I'm going to check over this body.
Okay.
You just start
See if
stabbing
she's
her.
dead or not.
All right.
You just start stabbing her. Yep, she's dead.
Wait, no.
So go ahead and give me a healing check.
Hi, Miami. I love you too.
So
you're bad luck. I got one less. I got 1 fortune point left. I think we're going to go ahead and
points back. We're supposed to get back every 2 sessions.
You do get half your fortune points back this session.
So I have 3. So I'm now got to have 2 because I'm re-rolling that.
I mean, he asked you to find out if she's dead or not. Well, you have to just put your hand on there and knows she's dead.
He's actually examining her. So let's see where he goes.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, not much better.
Okay, so with a 65, margin of failure of 1. So she is in fact actually dead. She is down to her shift, and you see no blade marks or anything like that upon the body. Like you see no obvious wounds. Your roll wasn't good enough for you to get any more information about how long she's been dead or anything like that.
Can I look in, like lift her lips, make sure any discoloration or anything there?
So you didn't. I'm thinking here. I'm thinking how much I'm going to give you with that roll.
Oh, gotcha. Understood. So I've definitely been looking at it.
So let's say that since you thought to look in her mouth, I'm going to give you a +10 to the roll, which will make it a success. And you see that she was probably poisoned. You do see some discoloration. There's some yellow staining on her tongue and her lips.
She didn't drink our Dornish coffee. She drank something.
She did drink. It does not appear like she was drinking your Dornish coffee, as that was.
It might be bilberries.
It might be Bill Berry.
Wow.
Not sure though.
Damn
Mid
Bilberries.
says, "My lord, let's get you out of this room. We don't want you here. Should we be discovered? We also want to get you out of this uncomfortable scenario. We'll continue our questioning in the main room."
Okay.
I escort Lord Fossway out. I close the door with myself inside.
As soon as you shut the door, I immediately grab Frag out the room.
Yeah, I was a frag toss the fucking place, and I step out of the room.
Okay. So Markas and Frag, you guys are currently in the room. Between the two of you, decide who's going to make the perception check. I will give you that you're being assisted, so you'll get a +20 to the roll.
I assume her perception is higher than mine, but I'm just going to double check. Let's find out. I hit things with a hammer really hard. I don't know if I perceive them
Before you
very
hit
well.
them?
Perception. Mine is really 32.
Okay, I'm marginally higher. Not by much, though.
Alright.
Oh, there we go.
But with that
+20 makes it.
But with that +20, it makes it a success. So you start tossing the room. Do you touch the body at all?
Nope.
No, not yet.
Okay.
I mean, it was touched before, but I want to investigate everything else first because obviously I missed something.
You toss the room. You actually, like, with Marcus's help, something that you couldn't have done before, like pull furniture off the wall to see if there's any secret passages. You move tapestries. You guys don't find a secret way into this room.
Huh.
I don't remember hearing anything weird.
Is there any candles nearby?
The room has a lit hearth, and there is a couple of candles. Yes.
Right. I do what I can to put out the fire in the hearth and close the chimney flume so there's no exhaust coming from that.
Okay.
And then I shut the door and wait till there's no smoke other than the candles just going.
Okay.
And I blow out the candles and I see which way the smoke goes.
It's too dark for you to tell.
Yeah.
It's nighttime.
Well, I leave. How many candles are there?
Let's say there's 5.
All right, I leave 2 on and I blow 3 out.
Okay.
And I put them in different parts of the room to see if the smoke goes straight up.
They go towards the front door.
God damn it. Stupid nobles in their non-airtight rooms. all 3 candles go straight towards the front door.
The ones that are farther from the door go straight up. The ones that are closer to the door.
Okay. So if there is a hidden passageway, it's at least sealed tightly. All right.
All right. So back outside, Mid Roderick.
Is there anything on the ceiling?
You look at the ceiling. It's a very tall ceiling. There are wood cross beams and whatnot. You'd have to climb up there to actually get a good search on that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's easy enough for Frag and Markas.
Yeah.
Let's give her a boost up.
You could definitely give her a boost up, and I won't even make her roll. But before we get to that, I'm going to go outside. Mid, Roderick, and Rolf, and Xander are outside with Sir Brian. And Sir Brian is sitting there, and he says, I think I need a drink.
I would recommend just staying put for now. Let's settle the situation, then you can have a drink. There's no use losing your head. Also, you are going to be needed for the later night festivities. Don't go having too much wine. We're going to solve this for you.
Roderick shifts the goblet that he has in his hand away slowly from this guy.
Better yet, so outside this balcony that we're on, there's a party going on. We can see the party going on, correct?
Yeah. It looks like that.
Okay. So from the way I see it, we have the following short-term goal. We have to make this situation disappear, with step 2 being solving however this happened, who's attempting to disrupt this marriage, and who murdered that poor woman.
Right.
We need a point of egress for us to get this body out of here, or worst case scenario, a means to hide in the room where it will not be discovered throughout the nights. That's my last ditch plan there.
Okay.
Was the body bloody?
I look at Ralph.
The body was not bloody from what you guys saw.
No blood. I believe it was poison.
Well, I can take
I
care
look
of
at
it.
Rolf. Rolf, you met, and I don't think you'd be able to do this now, but you met a wise woman who knew the ways of healing and things on the edge of the town. Maybe if there's some way for us to get this woman's remnants to her, we might find out more about how this woman met her end.
I don't know if I trust the old woman. She was talking about blueberries being bilberries, and
I just look. Uh, okay. It couldn't hurt though. Potentially.
okay.
Has Mid heard of bilberries?
Mid, is,
Yeah,
you know what? Mid, give me an intelligence check.
Just straight intelligence or outdoor survival or.
Actually, outdoor survival sounds good. See that, and that's why I asked you guys to tell me what you want to use.
I mean, I'd probably prefer straight intelligence if we're being honest, but I don't even know what straight intelligence is. Yeah, no, I'll do outdoor survival. It's fine. Nope.
No, you have not.
I say bilberries. That's definitely a blueberry. Bullshit. Nevertheless, it can't hurt. It can't hurt.
If you guys want, you guys can also call in the actual maester if you trust him.
So Mid says, I want to find a means to remove this woman's body from that room, but I am cautious about looping in anyone else, as anyone else who we loop in may have ears and a mouth and begin spreading tales of what happened here, regardless of whoever they are and whatever their intentions may be. So, Lord Fossway, is there anyone that you trust that might know this castle better than ourselves that we might utilize in order to do what must be done?
My cousin, the Lord's son, Duncan the Tall.
Ninja shakes his head. Okay. Can we retrieve Lord Duncan and bring him here?
Xander says, I'm unassuming. I can go find him.
I look at Lord Flossway like, is that okay? Does that work for you?
Yeah, he nods. He says, yeah, I mean, he is in fact unassuming.
And Lord Duncan knows this castle better than yourself.
Yeah,
Is
he lives
he?
here.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Let's do that.
Okay. So Xander runs off.
Nate just goes, "Oh, sweet Jesus, I hope you can trust Xander." In his brain, he doesn't say Jesus, but he's like, "Oh,
Sweet
miraculous
seven.
things. I hope you can trust this man."
So back over to Marcus and Frag as they're attempting to learn new acrobatic tricks. Frag, give me an easy, so +20 dexterity roll just to not lose your balance.
I got athletics.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, that shit's fine. So you guys wobble a lot, but eventually he like brings you over to like the wall, and so you kind of like half scramble up the wall. It takes you some time, but you get on one of the beams at the top of the room. The beams are really wide, so like I'm not gonna make you do balance checks or anything up there. What do you look
As
for?
they're really wide, I look at it, I'm like, see if there's a entryway or somewhere where you could lower a body down from above.
I didn't think to check up here. uh, okay. And so, perception, I'm guessing.
Okay. You search around. You see that the chimney leads up along the wall here, and you see that there is a second ventilation hole towards the top, but it doesn't look like anything could really fit through there.
Not even me.
You'd have a hard time fitting through it.
Okay.
You know that it's small to make sure that other animals and stuff don't make it into through there.
Yeah. I don't see anything weird.
I start using the haft of my hammer to bang on the floor to see if there's any hollow sounding.
Okay. You don't find anything like that.
Okay.
At this point, Roderick would start making his way up to the room.
Okay. At this point, as you guys have been searching around, doing whatever you're doing, Roderick, you walk into the room with the dead woman. What are you trying to do now?
Before Roderick walks in, I just say, "Hey, Roderick, if they, I don't know what they found, but if there's any way to begin hiding or removing the body, we should start that process now in case anyone comes up."
Roderick grunts, takes a look at the body. Are there sheets on the bed, or is it a?
There are sheets on the bed. Yep.
Okay. Is it one of those beds with like the four posts and the curtains
Oh,
and all that crap?
Yeah, all of that crap.
Yeah, Roderick is gonna bring out his axe. He's gonna chop down all the frills and the crap, and he's gonna wrap the body tightly, entirely in sheets and frills and whatnot.
Just the spare linens and shit, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So
As you're about to start doing, I'm like, check her from Marks before you completely encase her in wrappings and stuff.
So as you get ready to start destroying things, Sir Brian is like, wait a second, none of that belongs to me.
You had a really wild night with your guards. We played Regicide till dawn. We had lots of alcohol, and we destroyed some of the furniture.
I look at Lord Foster. I'm like, is that the wedding bedroom?
No. The wedding.
Okay.
No, we have a bigger room for that.
I said I'd look in the drawers to see if there are any spare sheets there, so we don't have to trash the bed itself. But do what you have to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys look around. There are no spare sheets. The spare sheets would be kept with the maids.
Yeah, I just look at the guy. I show him my axe, and I go like, "It belongs to me now."
Like he wants to argue, but he also doesn't want to deal with the axe. So he's like, "Yeah, belongs to you now."
Yep.
It's like he wants to argue, but he also doesn't really want to argue.
Right? He's like,
Especially now with a big
he's
axe.
like,
Yeah,
right.
I wrap the body as tightly as possible, to the point that it's like it could just be a big like boot of like stuff. Throw it over my shoulder and just walk out the door.
Because remember, he is jacked.
He is in fact jacked. Okay, so
Old man jacked.
So you walk out the front door.
I say, "Excuse me, Roderick, if you don't mind me asking, where are you going? Just in case it happens to be relevant."
Is there a river near here?
Yes, there is.
I'm headed to the river.
I don't think we'll solve the murder or who killed that poor woman if we disappear the body. But I suppose it's not up to me.
Roderick's gonna turn around and say, if there's any way that having the body around is going to be more beneficial than hurtful, I would love to hear it.
Okay.
Mid says at a later date we might be able to find someone who's able to perform an autopsy and get more information about who her killer may have been.
Oh, what?
There's autopsies around here.
Yeah.
Fancy words.
Roderick also goes, what? Like, I imagine this is a unison moment. Like, at least two of us go, what?
You can inspect the body for how it might be killed. Look at Rolf. Rolf, can you help me explain this?
Marcus can't even read, so he probably said a what?
Yeah. The only people who
I'll
understood
try.
the only people who understood that were Mid and Rolf. Everyone else is like, why are you using $5 words?
We can, cut her open and see what killed her.
Poison.
Right, which
Yeah.
poison? It's relevant.
Poison. What does it matter?
Poison. The poison.
Different types of
Well,
different types
because if we know the type of poison, we might be able to figure out who had access to it.
Take a sample of the inside,
At this point,
of her mouth.
Duncan walks in. Duncan the Tall is in fact quite tall.
It's one of those names that he actually earned, and it wasn't like a mocking name or
So
anything.
Duncan the Tall is actually quite tall, and unlike his cousin, he is very much a warrior.
Mid leans over. Does he have he's not dressed for battle, I'm
No,
assuming.
no. He's clearly been partying. He's got a nice tunic on and all that jazz.
Mid wants to inspect his shield, but that's neither here nor there.
So he says, "What trouble did you get yourself in, small bry?"
Surprisingly enough, trouble found him. He didn't find trouble.
So Brian's like, "Look, she's not mine."
We can all attest to the fact that he walked in and there was just trouble waiting on his bed for him.
So he walks in, he looks at Roderick, and he's like, "Are you just leaving with the body?"
Yeah.
I say, Lord Duncan, you know these premises better than all others. Is there a hidden compartment or a hidden room or a means of another means of entrance into that room?
Not this room, no. The
We all stood guard when we were in the room. When we arrived, there was no one in the room. Despite your warnings, one of our party did enter the room and there was no body on the bed. So a body must have been placed in that room since we arrived.
well, did the person in the room check under the blankets?
Frag. I'm assuming, yeah, you tore out the room, you checked under the bed.
She did not actually check the bed. She checked under the bed, but not in the bed, which is why I asked.
Well, wouldn't there be, a lump?
So Duncan says, I understand that none of you are used to these kind of mattresses. And he gets in the bed, and you see he sinks into it because it's a feather mattress. And he throws the blankets on top of himself. And there's like 8 or 9 blankets at this point. The whole bed looks like a lump.
Jeez.
I look at Lord Brian. Lord Brian, did you pull back the covers and reveal the?
Oh, yes.
Okay, Mid just nods.
Crap baskets.
Oh.
So Duncan is like, feather beds. We have a lot of them here, in the Reach.
Lord Duncan, short-term goal is to remove this body and save your cousin's honor. Is there any manner of egress that you know, or anyone that you know we can trust, short of Roderick walking out with it over his shoulder?
So he looks at you and goes, "Look, I fully agree with you. Both Lord Fossaway and myself are very invested in this marriage being successful. It solidifies our strength here on the edge of this river, and it gives Lord Selmy some more troops to guard the border with Dorne. As far as getting rid of bodies, he kind of like looks at you. I imagine as a fool, you've had to do it for your lord a time or two.
Nope.
Mid just turns his head sideways and goes, "No, we don't do things like that in the Stormlands."
He kind of does one of these. He's like, I've heard about Robert.
I shake my hand like this, like he's King's Landing's problem now. We're more the Stannis sort of Stormlords.
Okay, he nods. He's like, all right, sure. I mean, we certainly know Stannis doesn't have that issue.
No.
Roderick laughs.
Mid readies himself for a Renly joke, expecting one, but one doesn't come, so he's happy.
Right,
so
Mid's like ready to defend Lord Renly's honor, like, how dare you, but it doesn't come.
no, they don't joke about this shit.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get yourself killed. He says, I mean, if your man is foolish enough to just walk out with the body and take ownership of whatever happens after that, it's probably the most direct method.
Mid says, oftentimes deception works best when it is as such. I have further thoughts of examining the body further, see if we can determine more about the cause of her passing and attempt to solve this issue. Perhaps find who's responsible if that in any way, shape, or form is helpful. I'd also like to know who had access to this room before ourselves. That being said, that's a less direct route of removing the body. Which do you prefer, my lords?
So Brian says, I would like to know who's killing women just to mess with my wedding.
Well, definitely.
Lord Duncan says, at the risk of sounding callous, this young woman's suffering has ended. My cousin's suffering has just begun.
Roderick chuckles.
Like, we do indeed have to figure out what happened here and who's behind this nefarious plot and is trying to see your cousin come to harm. And we have to figure out who killed the woman, because she may not have been born a noble, but she is still a human blood and tissue.
At this point,
So,
Xander's like,
the murder is...
yeah!
Who said that? Oh, Xander.
Xander. I say, moreover, my lords, whoever did this to you will attempt to do it again. Mid also looks at Marcus and just nods like, I completely agree. Like about the poor woman.
So
Yeah, we have to
Drag,
build her.
Drag looks forward.
Duncan
I
says,
said,
Duncan says, well, then take her to the maester and see if he can examine her.
You trust your maester?
We pay his.
well, it's real easy. We don't have to tell the maester where we found the body.
We pay his bills. He owes his loyalty to us. After the college, obviously, you can't really trust maesters.
I'm assuming that is a quieter route from here to the maester as opposed to from here to the river.
Yes, absolutely.
Mid does a cartwheel and goes to the maester.
Well, the maester should have some manner of transportation for a body that's way less
Conspicuous.
suspicious than a ball of linens. So perhaps the maester should come to us, bring his trolley of body carrying.
Duncan says the hallways are almost entirely empty. Everyone's outside.
Fair enough.
This should be fine. So
Right.
Duncan, Brian, the 5 of you, Xander, and the body make your way to the maesters.
I say to Lord Duncan, we should have someone repair the room. We gave it a good search. There's linens missing and things.
He says that will be the morning's problem.
Mid's like, fine. Mid doesn't give a shit. He just wants to make sure that like no one walks in, no serving girl who's like, oh my god, scandal, and fucking tells the
Do we have a very strong bottle of alcohol at hand? We could just pour it all over the place and leave. It'll just make it seem like we party too hard and the venue changed.
He says if we're successful in this, I will grant you each a bottle of alcohol, and we will make that party less of a lie.
Very well then.
She's going to like kind of, or Frag's going to kind of go up to Marcus and kind of tug on his sleeve.
I looked. Oh.
So,
What's up, Frank?
Did I like? Are we guessing that the body was there before and they just didn't check the bed?
I think
Did
that's.
I go? Should I just go listen around and look around for people who are like weary of the area? This is kind of like before they leave the room.
Okay.
So she's kind of just one-on-oneing with him a little bit.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like it'd be useful just following you guys down there. I probably just want to go check around.
So go ahead.
That's more than fine.
Okay. Just because I didn't hear anything. So I had been there before.
Go ahead and give me a gossip roll. I'm going to say that you go out and you start talking to guards and stuff like that.
Can I try to use a okay, gossip? Okay. Just trying to figure out, it's like, how can I roll him using intuition? But okay, here we go. Okay. I'm not good at talking to people.
Fortune point.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's definitely going to be a thing. Boop. Yeah.
Nailed it.
There you go.
All right, so.
Mid did also previously ask for a list of people who had access to the room beforehand.
Yes, sorry.
This would be useful information for Frag. She can look at those specific folks in general.
So there was one guard at the door. His name was Taryn. Triss, Lady Alira's handmaiden, did come into the room because they were trying to decide whether this would be the marital chamber or not. And
it wasn't.
and just the maids. So with a 2 in gossip, you managed to find Taryn. He's currently at the tavern, and he is spending a lot more money than would be normal for a guard's salary.
I
This
guess
motherfucker.
I am making note of this, and can I observe him for like a little bit until is he like drinking?
He is drinking heavily, and we'll let you observe him for a little bit, and I'll go ahead and change scenes.
Because I want to make sure he definitely is slurring his words so I can like.
I got you. All right, so back in the Maester's office.
For something completely different.
The Maester is grumpy as shit that you all have woken him up.
There's a party going on. He's not awake.
I apologize, Lord Maester, but we really need help.
How many pounds of chicken you got?
So the Maester, his name is Lucian. He says,
Still in the.
You know how many chicken breasts were in the package?
he's an older gentleman. He says, he looks at you, Rolf, and he goes, perhaps if you had more links, you wouldn't need to be waking me up. Come, assist me.
And that is a true statement, and that is why I'm hoping to learn something as we do this.
This chicken breast was
come assist me.
one
He brings you over.
The rest of them are in the drawer.
He sets up a table. He tells you to go get the surgical tools. You do so. They put her down. He unrolls her. Oh, and he looks at her and he says, "Oh, not you."
They says, "Did you know the woman?"
Being the maester of a town means often assisting the wenches in the brothel with certain problems.
I found some yellow residue in her mouth. I believe this was poison, but I'm not sure what type of poison it was.
He looks it over and he scrapes some off with a blade and he puts it into a solution of water and it turns bright orange. That's a very good observation, young Rolf.
Worth a link or two, I think.
He looks at you, he's like, that's not how that works.
Mid does curtsy.
He says, this poison is from the sunspear flower.
Mid looks around to see if... So who's in the room currently?
Duncan, Roderick, Rolf, Marcus, Mid, and Brian.
Okay, so the Lords Fossaway are here. I just take a casual step back and look at their reactions, assuming that they're aware that it's a Dornish poison.
They do one of these like, yeah, of course, that's something. Rolf, give me a. I don't know. Give me a straight intelligence roll.
Intelligence.
Unless you have something to help you with flowers.
Well, healing does have things that are about herbs and medicine, so I'm not sure if healing might not be the best thing for that.
Go ahead, give me a roll of healing. Healing doesn't necessarily help you with poison, so I'm going to give you some negatives there, but let's see where you end up.
About 5 pounds.
You know that it is a Dornish poison.
Great. Dornish poison. And you said it was the spear flower?
The
Sunspear
flower, yes.
Sunspear.
It's an unfortunate sunspear.
Very appropriately named.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. That's definitely a Dornish make.
When you say that, Duncan says, now that makes sense.
The plot thickens, I assume.
It does. If this marriage was to fall through, the Selmies would not have our assistance in defending themselves against Dorne.
So Dorne is looking to weaken an alliance to strengthen their chances at any further or future warfare or crossing over into the Stormlands.
And they're always, I mean, I don't need to tell you, Blackhaven, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blackhaven's fighting against Dornish raiders constantly. They say that it's border issues and not anything official, but we all know better.
I believe it's one of those flowery tarts to use poison.
What was the
you say
maester's
flowery
name?
tarts, and both of the Tyrell bannermen are like, bro, really?
Hey, come on.
I look up
Roderick
and I look
laughs.
and say apples aren't flowers.
It's true. And
In
I mean, look at
fact,
the size of you. You obviously would not use poison.
I say, in fact, the Fossaways got their, and I actually say this out like, in fact, the Fossaway sigil come not from the bountiful harvest of the land, but from their ancient ancestor Archer, who charmed many a maid through his prowess through the bow. And it just goes back to what he's doing, like,
Duncan looks at you and he goes, "That's actually right."
mid nods. Also, are you named after Sir Duncan the Tall,
Yes.
the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch? Former Lord Commander of the Night's
Yes.
Watch.
Yes. I am.
Mid just smiles.
Like, he looks at Marcus. He's like, "Your fool knows some stuff."
That he does. There's a reason why he hangs out with me.
It's a wise man who knows he's a fool.
Mid's pale skin gets pink about the cheeks. People are talking nice about him. He's still 14.
What was the maester's name again? I'm just putting in my notes. Lucian. I wanted to say something else, but it was not. Okay, Maester Lucian. Thank
so
you.
he says, given that we know it's poison, I see no need to cause more damage to this young woman. Lord Duncan, would you like me to dispose of the body? And Duncan's like, yes, please.
Mid says, any chance that she had family or kin in the immediate area who requires notification?
Lucian looks at you in so when I say he's an older man, I mean that he's 70 or so, and he says, "Don't worry, child. She'll be buried the way the Seven intended, with her family present."
Do you need assistance, Maester?
If you'd like to assist in preparing the body for travel, that will be tomorrow. For tonight,
Okay.
I'm going back to sleep.
Good night, Maester. Thank you for your time.
If there's a ceremony, Maester, please inform us. I'd like to attend it.
He nods, and he kind of like ushers you guys out. He closes the door. So, at this point, Frag, good Terran is Slizzard.
Slizzard?
Excellent.
He's like,
I'm gonna
he's at the point where he's gotten drunk enough where he's now buying other people drinks.
Jeez.
Great.
Yeah, guards don't carry that much money.
Yeah, no, I want to kind of get in on it, but not really. I kind of be like, oh.
I'm curious where Frag's going with this.
Okay, can I? So he is obviously bigger than me, and does he like? Can I try to go in and kind of casually, just with the confidence of mid, try to be all like, so how's it going?
I mean, you can. That ain't gonna go well.
Because Frag does not know what she's doing about all that nonsense. But I'm just like,
So go ahead and slide up over to the bar.
Slide him into his DMs.
essentially.
What's up, boy?
How are you?
Hi.
You don't know. Maybe he's into it. Let's see where this goes. Give me a
Hey, he's Slizzard,
a
right?
charm roll.
Oh,
Man
perfect.
is Slizzard.
The man is Slizzard, so he looks at you.
Beer goggles.
And because he's Slizzard, I actually made it an even roll. And he's like, "What? Do you want a drink?
Yeah.
One for the. Are you old enough to? One for her." The
Yeah.
innkeeper brings a cup because they don't fucking care, and so you're drinking.
I don't actually drink it. I'm kind of just
Right.
like,
He says,
Um,
"Are you here for the party?"
I just want to get to know you because you look great.
He says, "I am great. I just got paid."
Wow, where? How? Is it a cool job? You look like you do cool jobs.
So go ahead and give me that gossip roll as you try and pull information out of him.
This is clearly a charm roll,
Uh,
or whichever stat she has higher.
This is clearly a slizzard roll, bro.
Yes.
Fucking nailed it.
Eh.
he says,
Nice.
Oh,
"I just got a recruitment bonus.
oh, from what?
I joined a mercenary company."
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait, what's yours? What's yours called?
Oh,
Is it some cool name like Unfortunate Sons?
he stops and he goes, "No, but that's a really cool one."
I, yeah.
He says, no. You know, she never told me the name of the company.
Oh, she didn't? What was her name? Is it her name?
I don't imagine. She's a lady from Summer Hall.
Uh-huh.
Um,
What's she look like?
she says, "Well, now I'm concerned. Hold on a second. How am I supposed to?"
Cause Unfortunate Sons, I don't know if I want to join in, cause if you're making this much money,
Uh,
this is
I
great.
had a very special privilege that I was,
Uh,
Uh-huh.
just a quick check. Did you mean Summer Hall or Harvest
I meant
Hall?
Summer Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, that was on purpose.
All right.
Hey, I don't remember if Mid has knowledge that area.
He
He
does.
does? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has knowledge history. Summer Hall was burnt to the crisp by
I mean,
dragons.
I'm pretty sure
Sacked
Marcus
the
knows
dragon.
about that, dude.
Oh yeah, Frag doesn't know two shits about it, but she's gonna
Mid is
pretend
also
she
not
does.
there, which is the reason why this
Yeah.
is. I'm not trying to metagame it.
Yeah.
Just curious
Yes.
because that's
He did.
relevant.
He did in fact mean Summer Hall.
I was gonna say that was like one of the greatest tragedies involving the Targaryens. I'm pretty sure most people know that.
That's literally where Sir Duncan the Tall died, protecting Aegon the Fifth.
So he says, yeah, she says you're from Summer Hall.
Oh man, does she have any opening? Y'all have any opening spots? Wait, what's she? Wait, why such a big bonus, man?
So she had to tempt me away from my current employers.
Oh, that's solid. Cause obviously she pays a
She
bunch. This
did.
looks like a great job.
50
You
gold
gonna go back?
crowns.
No way.
Way.
That's so great. Listen, listen. You're gonna be here all night? Wink.
Give me a charm
And
roll.
I guess try to be as seducing as possible without knowing how the hell to do that. But
Absolutely give me a charm roll. He says, he kind of does one of these. He's like, no, I'm going to go elsewhere. But if you're looking for a job, meet me here tomorrow morning.
okay, because she sounds like she has a great job. You don't remember what she looked like?
Oh, yeah. Black hair,
Uh huh.
darkish skin.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Beautiful.
Like hot stuff.
Well, that skin color certainly doesn't come from being in the Stormlands. I'd say it's hot.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Kind of do a
And so he like
cat.
tosses you 2 silver shillings. He's like, silver stags, and he says, "Buy your next drink on me." And he like turns around and walks off.
Yay! Sneak away.
All right, so back to our castle crew. What are you guys currently doing while Frag is having the time of her life?
Maid would want to go and take a look at the guard, Triss, and the maids, who are the individuals that had access to the room before anyone else did.
Okay, so
Assuming Triss is pretty solid, I asked Duncan about the maids, like, what's up with your maids? Are they cool? Which would probably lead us to want to go check out Terran.
Do they hang out?
so he tells you. I mean, the maids have been
They
around
cool?
forever. You know, I mean, the younger ones are younger. The older ones are older. I don't pay excess attention to them.
Mid just turned his head sideways, like it's a very strange way to classify your maids, but that's all right. He's like,
What about the guard? Is he old? Like, is he been here a while, or?
Not very long at all. No, he's pretty new. I mean, we.
I don't want to. I don't want to tell you guys how to do your job, but you were short on guards, and you send the ones that you do have to patrol the streets, and you leave novice guards plus fresh faces off the street to guard your lord.
I say, to be fair, those fresh faces off the street did do an excellent job of escorting Lady Illyria from Harvest Hall to Cider Hall. But I completely agree with you.
So while you did strike gold,
Duncan's like, that's why George said you guys were good.
Who appointed Terran as a guard this evening?
Say
Who appointed Terran as a guard this evening?
I imagine it was just his rotation to be in that area. We do have a oh god, what was the name of a master of arms. He handles the guard hiring and the guard rotations.
Might be worth a check.
sounds good to me.
Do you know where he lives?
Yeah, he stays in the near the guard barracks. I can show you the way. Come this way.
All right.
Mid looks around and goes, Marcus, the fuck is Frag?
She went to go investigate on her own. She figured she wouldn't really be any use talking to a maester, so she went to go investigate.
So you guys cross the castle, knock on the Master of Arms. At this point, Duncan's like, "Do you still need me?" I'll make introductions here, but I'm sure my father needs something from me, especially as morning is rapidly approaching.
No, that's fine. You can make the introductions and go about your business, my lord.
He's like, "Small Bry, you come along too." So the Master of Arms opens the door, and you see that he's already dressed. He says, "My lord," and he says, and he looks at Marcus and the five of you, and he's like, or four of you, sorry, five because Xander. And he's like, "I'm sorry, I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting. Ardian, these are the unfortunate sons, a mercenary company out of the Stormlands. They're currently doing a special assignment for me personally. Assist them in any way they need." Yes, my lord. And then he turns off and walks away.
Before Duncan leaves, I go, Lord Duncan, would it make sense for you to have someone toss the maid's quarters to see if there's some sort of empty bottle of yellowish substance within? Or do you think that's unnecessary?
If you don't have any other leads, we can do that. I avoid upsetting the maids whenever possible. Their job is important.
Mid smiles and says, good call. Have thee a good night, my lord.
And off he goes. So Ardian is a shorter man. He's about 5'9". He's going gray in the beard and the hair. Stocky. And he says, "What troubles it now?"
We're looking for a particular guard that is said to inhabit this barracks.
Yeah, we have about we keep about 25 guards on permanent retainer, and we can call up the bannermen when we need more.
Okay.
Specifically, we're looking for Terran, my lord.
Well, before you say, I'm like, do you happen to know who was on watch for the Lord Fosway this evening?
He says the Lord's chambers normally have 2 guards, our most veteran guards, because that's the lord of our house. Um, I want to say that tonight was Logan and Gregory.
Sorry, Lord Brian Fossaway.
Oh, that little shit.
That little shit.
He says that'd be Taryn. Not quite a novice, but he can stand in front of a door with the best of them.
Let's hope so, because he's the one that we're here to investigate, for lack of better words.
Really?
Evidence of the contrary.
At this point, you guys have been wandering around a bit, and Frag walks up. You notice that Frag is walking through the castle, and nobody is stopping her. So you're not really sure how good the guards are at the best of times.
Well, we are wearing the red apple sashes,
you
aren't
guys
we?
do have the sashes on, yeah. Okay, so Frag is wandering about the castle and manages to find you.
I think we have a pretty good idea just how good the guards are.
Yeah, really.
Mid.
I say, pardon me, Marlon, and I walk over to Frag.
Because she is kind of have a weary eye on dude she doesn't know over there, so she's like, oh. So I found a guard that was
Name's Taryn.
Oh yeah, it was wasted.
Wait, would you say he was? Would you say he was positively slizzard?
Yes. Yes.
That's the term, right? Yeah, that's.
Slizzard.
He was seriously slizzard.
Yeah, she says it in confidence because she's assuming it's a very, very important, complicated word. He was hired. He was spending some crowns or stags or whatever. Sorry,
Gold crowns. Yeah.
he was
You got it right.
spending some crowns, if you know what I mean.
I look
and he said he was given a bonus by this lady that she'll kind of give the big description: black hair, black or kind of like dark skin.
Black.
And she'll be kind of like, she hired him for this job, and then she kind of like goes, oh no, I forgot what that was.
I think that information is more than. I say, Frag, and I give her a big ass hug. I say, you are the best.
I look at the head of the guards. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we know who we're here to see, and we know why now. Can you fetch him for me?
She said, or he said that he was hired. It was he doesn't remember the name of her mercenary group, but she was in charge of it. And something that from Summer Hall, I think.
Mid goes, Summer Hall.
Yeah.
I doubt that part of the information, but
I don't know what that means.
well,
I look over Marcus and go, he may have been told Summer Hall. And
no, I completely understand. I believe Frag. I don't believe that he was told the truth for that last part.
Right, someone lied to him.
But he told me he'd get me a job tomorrow morning. So, so I gotta go meet him there tomorrow morning.
Should we attempt to apprehend him now, which seems like the surer bet, or attempt to ambush him for his meeting tomorrow with Frag at that tavern?
Well, he's at X Tavern.
Well, if he was at Slizzard, who even knows if he's going to show up tomorrow?
Right.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe
we can keep an eye on him tonight if we can locate him first.
I'd like to toss his quarters and throw him in irons immediately.
Oh, he gave me 2 silver or shillings or crowns.
Silvers.
Shiny.
Silver. Definitely silver.
I look over at Ardian and go, Ardian, what is Karen's wage?
Standard guard wages, 5 shillings a week.
Oh, he was paid.
Hold on a second.
I think the winking worked.
Yeah, he says 3 to 5 shillings a week. He's pretty new.
So if I informed you,
paid this amount, like what?
So I say, Lord Arden, if I were to inform you that the Terran is suspected in a manner of foul play which I cannot disclose that took place tonight, was recently seen tossing around at least 2 shillings to folks he did not know, buying them beverages in a tavern, and we suspect that he might be involved in some manner of foul play, but wanted to apprehend him with cunning, what would you suggest?
Well, if a guard came into money, there are only 2 good brothels in the city. Find the brothel, bribe the owner, barge into his room, club him senseless for betraying his lord, and then bring him here.
Could we have access to his quarters? We'd also like to see if what we might find therein.
The guards don't have quarters of their own. They either sleep in the barracks or they have their own home. Terran sleeps in the barracks, and he walks over. He brings you guys along.
0 Foot Locker?
Yes. So you guys walk in, and you see the barracks is 2 rows, each one of 25 bunk beds. So it has enough space for 50 soldiers. Most of the beds are empty. He brings you over to Terran's thing. You see the locked Foot Locker.
Alright, just smack it with my hammer. It's now unlocked.
Well, hold on. Before you smack with your hammer, I say, why don't we have Frag take a crack at it first? Given that we may not apprehend him right now, and he might, we might not be able to intercept immediately.
Fair enough. Go for it.
Frag walks up, and she's like, click. No issues whatsoever.
Marcus wants to just destroy. I mean, Marcus just wants to destroy shit. That's all.
I do imagine that both Marcus and Roderick just went up to the Foot Locker like weapons raised, ready to splinter it. And then the smart people are like, hold on.
Click.
It's like we don't have to solve everything with violence.
Oddly enough, my Facebook post for tonight was, come find out how mercenaries solve crimes. Yes, it involves use of hammers. So I knew what I was getting myself into.
Yeah, I mean, Frag's not smart, but she'll do it the will clearly.
Marcus can't even read. He just hits things with hammers.
So you open the Foot Locker. You see a pouch of coins. You see some clothes, and you see a letter.
I pick it up and begin reading it. I just walk over to Rolf so we can both read it simultaneously.
Okay.
I can't read, so I start counting the coins.
In the pouch are 20 gold crowns, or gold dragons.
I tie it around my belt. Evidence.
Ardian says, I think the Fossilway House would like to handle some of that evidence.
How much of this evidence would you like to
I
handle?
think half of the evidence sounds fair.
And it says, did not Lord Duncan tell you that we were to do all of our work in his name here today?
In that case,
then the Duncan household is already in possession of half of that evidence.
I think that as captain of the guards, then a quarter of the evidence would be sufficient.
That sounds sufficient to me. What do you think, Mid?
Mid, no, it's perfectly acceptable.
All right.
Roderick scoffs. Like he's not contradicting because that's what Marcus said, but he's like, God. What the
So you go ahead and you give him 5 gold crowns. Go ahead and add 15 gold crowns to the assets. The letter itself reads very simply. We have noticed your skills with a blade and your bravery, and we believe that you are perfect for a new branch of mercenaries forming out of Summerhall. If you are interested in this job, please meet me. And it provides a location in the gardens, and it is signed with a letter T.
Interesting.
Huh?
There's no potion or tincture of poison or anything? He probably knew the fucking poisoning himself. Also, if he's at a brothel, we might find more information about how he specifically selected the poor girl who died.
Okay.
Do note that I haven't reduced my gold amount for any of the shopping we've done. At some point, we have to look over that.
Okay.
I didn't leave him at a brothel.
Well, once he's done dipping his head, he's going to want to dip his head.
Oh.
So you guys head over to the high class brothel that.
Oh, before I lock the chest, like leave it like it's relatively unopened. I mean, if he dives through, he's gonna find his fucking gold missing, and that's neither here nor there. But if we happen to miss him, I'm like, Arden, if he reports back, can you arrest him on site?
Oh yeah. Arrest him will be the nicest thing I do to him.
Okay. We would like to question him, so at least leave his mouth intact.
Indeed. We need his mouth and his wits. We don't need anything else.
So like, imagine your stereotypical turn of the 20th century like New York cop. He's like, oh no, this guy's gonna get it. You're like, we need to talk to him. He's like, he's gonna get it a little bit then.
Mid says, leave his mouth intact. I want a pole vault using it later. My spear.
So
that's a callback.
So you guys leave. You head to the brothel. You enter the brothel, and Roderick, Rolf, and Frag, and Mid are all stopped at the door.
Mid looks at the red sash on his arm, and then looks at the person who stopped him. Say, come again.
The bouncer's like, working for the Fossaway doesn't mean you have enough money to come in.
I just look at Marcus. I said, first off, we're here on official business.
And then the second thing he goes, and that guy definitely can't come in. And he's pointing at Roderick.
Roderick leans in. He sniffs him. He says, "You smell way too good to prevent me from coming in here, even if you wanted to."
Marcus, at this point in time, Mid pulls out his coin pouch and just dangles the remaining gold he has from his 20 gold, which is about 7 gold, into his palm, and then puts it back into the pouch. And puts it back on his hip. You were saying?
I stand corrected. I consider myself a man of science. New data means new opinions.
Mid looks at the man. Mid takes a step closer to him and goes, "You are absolutely correct, Roderick. This man smells way too much like flowers to be standing in our way. Stand aside, sir."
Okay. If it comes down to a fight, you know that you're gonna have to deal with the bouncer too, right?
That's fine.
Throwing that out there for future reference.
It would be our pleasure.
So you guys walk in, and immediately you see Taryn at the bar. He's in a.
We're under the assumption that I'm in like full armor at this point, right?
Yeah, we're all geared. I
you guys
imagine.
are all in full armor.
Okay.
I mean, those
took
of you with armor.
I'm trying to make my presence as small as possible, though. So
you guys.
Easy enough. I imagine that Marcus and Roderick will just walk in, put one hand on each shoulder, and just drag him out.
You know what? Go ahead and each of you give me a weapon skill roll to see how that goes.
All right.
Fantastic.
I assume he's still slizzard, so this can't go that poorly.
I mean, okay.
If my character sheet would ever load.
Come on.
Fortune point.
I mean, maybe it's pretty late in the night.
Hey, it's per session, so yeah, I'm gonna absolutely go ahead and throw one of those out.
Back per session.
Yeah, and I have 2, so.
He has not used one tonight.
Yep. Hey.
Do I get a slizzard bonus?
No, not that much of a slizzard bonus.
Alright, well then I'm re-rolling.
Also, Roderick should have. Roderick should have 4 fortune points. By the way, that's an issue.
Oh, so I'm down to 3.
So you go ahead. Roderick grabs him, begins dragging him. Marcus misses the initial grab, but then manages to get him, and he's like, "Hey, don't you know who I am?"
Roderick's gonna turn around and say, "We know exactly who you are." And
I'm gonna go hide. I'm gonna go hide.
Mid hops on the counter, he's sitting in front of him, and says, "We know who you are. You're the bloke who's under arrest."
All right.
Yep. You know what? A special guest at our new party.
He looks at Frag and he's like, "Help me out here," because Frag did not successfully.
Wait, no, don't do that. What are you doing? What's going on?
You
Cripes.
guys drag him out.
Our offense.
Um. eventually, you guys get him outside, get him manacled, and with only some difficulty, get. Are you guys taking him back to Cider Hall, or are you guys going to question him elsewhere?
So we
I
can
feel
question
like
them at the barracks. I'm sure they got plenty of rooms for that.
Hog tie that motherfucker and throw him on Marcus's horse.
So,
We knew you were bringing a body back. We'd have brought the
so you
horse.
guys get to Cider Hall. You guys get to the jails there from the castle. Ardian is like, "Oh, you found him first." Um,
You can have
You,
time.
you wanted more of our evidence, didn't you?
so he punches him like full gauntleted hand, punches him right in the sternum, and
Nice.
then
yeah,
and then walks away for you.
My
guys to
lord,
go back.
I don't think you meant that enough. I think you need to give him another one.
Roger's gonna be like, not like that, like this. Punches him in the sternum again.
At this point, Karen's like, "I'll talk. Just stop hitting me."
Don't do too much damage. I don't want to have to heal him that much.
I look at him and I say, "You see how they hit you with their gauntlets? Do you see the hammer that's strapped to my head?"
I already said I'll talk.
All right.
I'm making sure I'm not quite visible.
Somehow I don't believe you. I'm gonna punch him again just to watch him flinch.
You give him two for flinching.
He does flinch, and they says, "Normally, when you torture someone, you ask questions and then hit them."
We like to do things in reverse here.
When are you meeting your employer for the mercenary company again?
You can tell he is now sober from the ordeal that he's currently going through. He says, "I'm supposed to meet her tomorrow on the road leading out to Selmy Lands."
I look at Artie and say we should. Well, actually, I look at Marcus. Should we handle it ourselves, or should we send some of the guardsmen?
How many of them were there? Do you know?
A whole caravan. At this point, Ardian says,
We're
"Hold
gonna
on.
need it.
A caravan of Dornishmen." Yeah,
That sounds more like an army
he says,
than a.
"Yeah, there's some wine merchants just outside of town. Came for the festival."
Oh, great.
Uh,
I check to see if the people of the party are okay.
Yeah,
If they're pretending to be wine merchants,
e-
the last thing we need is them poisoning the
everyone
party.
seems fine. They are quite drunk. Ardian says,
If there's any casks from a Dornish make sure they haven't been tapped yet, and check them.
he calls two guards and they go start looking at it. He says, "Look, I'm sorry. I'll take my lashes. I'm still loyal to House Fossaway." At this point, he just open hand slaps him. "What did you get?
Mid says. He wouldn't have interrupted Artie.
What did you get paid to do?" And he says, "All I did was go for a walk at a certain time of day."
Do you realize that the room that you were guarding ended up with a dead body in it?
No.
Mid says the room that you were guarding ended up with a dead body in it. So when you lost your head and accepted the payment, you probably didn't anticipate that you might lose your head. So any detail you might have about who hired you would be extremely important to relay now, because you might lose your
Give
fucking
me an
head.
intimidation roll with a bonus, and I'll let you know how it goes.
Can I give a bonus too by putting my hammer over my shoulder all menacingly?
He is
same.
as bonus as he can be, but yes, you are all intimidating the shit out of him.
I'm gonna give him the bonus. All right.
I would candidly say that Mid is probably more trying to reason with him, like, speak now, you're going to lose your fucking head.
All right, so
Mid knows he's not
all right,
intimidating.
go ahead and give me that charm roll.
He's
I know
more
that's
trying
what
to-
I know that's what you're aiming for.
That's what I'm aiming for. Nailed it.
Oh.
He says, "I'll tell you everything I know, and you make sure that I just serve some time in the stocks with lashes."
Mid says, I will do my very best. I do not get to make that call, unfortunately.
Can we do it? Can we make it so that he's naked?
Whoa.
Guardian's like, that might be on. Okay, so he says, "This is everything I know, right? The company of merchants came in before the leader. The leader is a woman with black hair and tan skin. She is short. She came in later on. They're posing as wine merchants, but really they're mercenaries, and their whole point was to try and disrupt the wedding somehow.
Did they say why?
When someone waves around 50 crowns, you don't ask why.
I don't think they need a reason. They're Dornish.
You don't sound very loyal to your lord if you're trying to stop the wedding.
Sir Brian isn't.
It doesn't sound very convincing
Sir Brian's
either.
unimportant.
Roderick just looks at the captain, like.
I tell him to spread it. I tell him to like sort of like stand it, not attend to his feet together, but like basically stand at ease with his feet apart.
Okay.
And I kick him in the nuts as hard as I fucking can. I just straight ruin his testicles.
He falls over and he's like, "I was honest."
Yeah, but your testicles are unimportant.
So what you're trying to tell me is that your honor is worth 50 gold crowns?
Hey, no, you know what? He can't answer you.
He's in too much pain right now.
One squeak if yes, two squeaks if no.
GM disappeared.
Or GM was.
All right, now that he's away, let's beat him up some more.
Stop beating the poor man. That's not how torture works. This is not enhanced interrogation. This is just beatings.
This is for my own benefit.
No, I kneel down next to him like, so, your loyalty was bought for more gold than you probably would have seen in your lifetime, granted, but your loyalty was bought once, and we assume that it can't be bought twice?
So at this point, he's more or less caught his breath. He goes, "Are you buying?"
I'll be swinging the sword in a second.
Hammer!
So Ardian says, "I think that we've heard everything we need to. This person is a traitor and needs to be executed as such."
Mm-hmm.
I do say, Lord Ardian, not to speak contrary to what you just said. It might be useful if there is really a meeting, which I'm doubtful of. There really is a meeting between this looks down piece of swine and the mercenary company. We would like to intercept it, I think.
And he offered me a job.
I stand the man up and I say, listen.
How tall is Terran?
Yeah, how tall is Terran?
Probably 6 feet ish.
Mid steps on his tippy toes. I'm sorry. Speak again, Terran. Say anything, or I'll kick you in the groin again.
Kick me in the groin again.
I repeat, please don't kick me in the groin again, exactly as he just said it, because I have the mimic ability.
I got you. I understood what you were getting at.
I look at Marcus and go, I'm a little short for him, but I can pull it off.
Granted.
Alright, so
there's no need to wake the lords up again this night. I believe we have enough evidence to declare this man a traitor. As I'm declaring him a traitor, I'll swing the sword.
Ardian's like, you have no right. Yeah.
Jurisdiction? I believe the sash gives me the right.
Ardian thinks about this for a second.
Would you like to wake up your lord again? He already went to bed twice.
Ardian thinks about this. He goes, "No, you know what? I'm perfectly okay with that."
Do you believe your lord would spare him for what he did tonight?
We'd have to call the executioner. It'd be a whole thing.
I set the what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, but I do need his clothes before you splatter blood on them.
Disrobe him, bring him someplace where I can execute him.
They do that. You execute him. The remainder of the night passes. And you.
Also, he's a guard. You could use any guard's uniform. You didn't need his specifically.
Well, I don't know if he's going to go in a guard's uniform to a meeting.
That's true.
There's also more stuff in the locker. So
I didn't think of that. Right. Also, since we removed his head from his body, I spend the night just examining his features so I can get the
disguise bonus.
The disguise right.
All right. Morning comes. How are you guys setting up the ambush for the for the merchants?
I think we'd want backup, right? Like, there are 50 guards that we could call upon for this nonsense.
Well, first let's speak to Lord Fossways
Yeah, I agree.
with an S.
Oh,
I mean, I'd rouse them. I'd rouse them before the meeting.
So are you rousing like Lord Fossaway, or are you rousing Duncan?
Duncan and little shit Bry, as he's been,
Small fry.
referred to.
Okay, so you rouse them. Um, you rise Sir Brian because you guys know him, and then he rouses Duncan. And
I leave it up to them if they rouse, big
he
Fossway.
says, Duncan says, no, this is exactly the type of thing my father wants to see me take initiative on.
Initiative. Very
I
good, my
am
lord.
officially hiring you and deputizing you as Fossaway agents for this purpose. Go.
I just slightly adjust the sash. Very well then.
Go and bring me back a Dernish mercenary.
We need bodies, my lord. We can't take on that many.
They were a mercenary company posing as wine merchants. It is our belief that they might very well outnumber us.
Take 10 of our guards. Ardian, make it happen. At this point, Ardian's like, we don't really have 10 to give them. We can give them 5. The rest are all on duty for the wedding. Fine. Is 5 enough?
Is there any place we can hire? I mean, we do have some evidence to spend, and I can see no better way than to spend it in defense of your lands as opposed to against it.
The tavern may have some people that can be bought. I don't know if you have time.
Yeah. Mid, make it happen. Right. I just tossed on the coins. Be back in before the cock crows.
Right. Mid, you head to the tavern. You notice most people are asleep. How are you going to go about this? Are you taking anyone with you?
I'm gonna go. Mostly because I want to peruse the town and keep a weary eye out for descriptors of that person, and kind of keep a watch on the outside.
Mid does this in normal clothes, waking people up and asking them to fight for you is not something you do in Motley, generally speaking.
Oh yeah, not really wearing the sash either.
And I'm wearing the fuck out sash.
I'm not. I'm just kind of
so you head to the tavern. When you walk in, the tavern owner is like, "Yeah, what do you need?"
I'm here as an agent of Lord Fossaway, specifically for the hiring of men for a task suited to combatants. As you might respect, the Holdfast Guard are occupied for the wedding, but there are tasks that need doing.
How many do you need?
As many are able-bodied and willing. Pay will be decent.
So he walks over and he kicks 3 or 4 people who are in the common room. And so they start getting up, and you end up with another 5 guys that you guys can hire for the day.
Sure. My sales pitch is that it's an honest few hours work, which will ingratiate them with the local lord, and they will quadruple their whatever spending they intended on to enjoy the wedding.
It'll cost a total of 15 silver to hire them, by the way, for the day.
Done. Each or for the whole group?
5.
Right, yeah, done.
You're like, yeah, whatever.
We just fucking got, what was it, 37.5 gold from evidence.
15.
Yeah, really. Yeah. So before the Fossways leave, I'm like, we will need some, since you can't provide the manpower, the tools of the trade.
Oh no, all the mercenaries that that Mid hired have their own stuff.
Oh no, I know that specifically. Rolf was lacking in a weapon that was somewhat decent last time, so I'm like, can we get my friend Rolf here some Castle Forge steel?
I think he got a sword off the bandits last time. Yeah. I think everyone's good now.
I don't want none of that cheap crap. I'm talking like a real sword.
You know what? They give you a sword.
Rolf, here you go.
I think we also wanted Rolf a shield.
Thank you, Marcus.
And they get you a shield. That
Oh,
sounds fine. That sounds fair. You guys get to the edge of town, and as you arrive at the edge of town, you see.
I'm going in first. I'm like not rolling up in force. I'm in disguise.
You
we're not.
you walk up, and you see.
Wait. Can I?
Go ahead.
Would it be a good idea to come for me?
Yeah, I'm
to come
supposed to.
with
I'm
you?
supposed to bring
Because-
Frag for the purpose of bringing you into the company also. So sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would do our best to stay hidden and surround them, especially if they have a caravan. Bringing pikes with us would be the way to stop horses from charging.
You guys get to where the wine merchants are, and you see that the area is empty except for one man.
Bollocks.
I walk on over.
Give me that disguise roll.
I would have sat and made sure this thing was
I
right.
know.
I would roll.
I'm giving you bonuses for the time that you took on it.
Okay. Where the fuck? I'm trying to find it on my sheet, and I am unfortunately currently failing.
I am pretty sure that disguise actually goes under perform, but I can be wrong.
Right. I think I know what it is now.
Like it's under acting or whatever.
Acting. It's under entertain. I found it.
Nice.
I will fortune point that.
I figured.
Nice.
Better. I will use a fortune point.
So as you walk up, the man looks at you and he says, "Taryn, why are you bringing children along with you?"
I say the child seemed good with a blade and quick of hand, and so I thought we might wish her services as well.
Give me a dodge roll on your part.
I'm being attacked.
Being attacked.
Sure.
It's Frag. She was a double agent all along.
I mean, this is what Taryn was going to do, so...
Take
They're
this,
probably
man!
gonna kill this guy anyway.
Stabs you. Oh!
That's going to be fine. I didn't roll that. I had nothing to do with that roll.
Oh. Wow.
He reaches out,
Wow.
he tries to kill you, and before you even get a moment to stop yourself, you pull out your knife and slit his throat.
I pull a knife and slit his throat? I don't want that.
Okay.
I want to interrogate this
You
man.
pull out your knife, disarm him.
I slice his fucking forearm so his tendons are fucking severed and he can't hold a weapon anymore.
With 100, I'm just giving you the win, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
He goes to stab you, he
So
goes, since you, as he's stabbing you, he's like, loyalty is more than just gold. And he goes to stab you, and you fillet his forearm.
And I say fighting is much more than a reckless lunge.
Well,
He falls over, screaming in pain.
I say I'll bandage that if we can get on our way.
On our way to what?
You guys mentioned Summer Hall. Look, you guys aren't terribly descriptive. I pull out the letter. I'm like, there's not much here now that I'm sober. Although the coin jingle's just right, so I'm willing to follow you despite those antics.
Give me another acting roll to see. Well, actually, he doesn't know Taryn, so we're gonna stop that. Give me a charm roll to see if he buys your bravado.
Do I get a bonus to the fact that I'm going to literally spare his fucking life?
He's what do we call it? He is motivated to believe you.
I'm definitely grabbing its weapons.
Okay.
You believe
He
me?
does believe you. He says, "Look, the lady said that anybody who's willing to betray their lord for gold can't be part of the company."
She's going to have to tell me that herself now, isn't she?
Is it?
Some might say failure is disloyal.
He says, "Look,"
I'm
he
not-
says very simply, I'm not gonna tell you where she is. Um, what you're gonna do to me is substantially less bad than whatever she'll do to me.
I get real close to his face and say, "Sir, you do not know me very well at all." Insinuating that I will do something much worse than what he has
Right.
in
So
mind.
at this point, Marcus, you guys were far enough that you could see what's going on. Do you guys come in?
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna blow up his spot before he, whistles or something.
Okay.
Lets us know to come in.
Yeah, he looks like he's got this handled.
The by the way, the cue that I'm in trouble is I start singing the Dornishman's Wife,
Okay.
which is a song that's whatever diegetic.
So singing the Rains of Castamere.
No, just the
No.
Dornishman's Wife.
So he says,
I mean-
look, I'm no longer any good to my lady either. Spare me my life, and I'll give you her name.
I nod.
Triss. Triss of Summerhall.
Describe again what she looks like for me.
Dark hair, dark skin, a beauty, a Dornish beauty.
Aren't they all? Okay,
I
I whip out iron. I whip out
I assume
iron.
the handmaiden wasn't dark skinned, right?
The handmaiden was dark skinned, yes.
I see. Son of a bitch.
Mid whips out irons, claps him on the fucker, and says, "I spared your life, but you're gonna have to answer the Fossaways." And I drag this motherfucker, and I start singing the Dornishman's Wife as I drag him along.
They all show. They come down. They arrest him. That poor man is probably gonna get executed. And he probably deserves it.
I'd spare his life. I didn't say anyone else would.
Right. So at this point, the wedding goes on. At the end of the wedding, Lady Alira makes a big deal about the fact that she cannot find Triss anywhere. Confirming the fact that you guys
we would probably
confirming what you guys
Yeah.
knew.
we would probably like get on the asking questions early about where Trish might be up to in hopes that we could catch her and probably fail, but
This man actually does not give her up.
no, I mean like we would go back, ask Alira where Triss is, probably never find her, that type of thing.
Yeah. No, Alira has no fucking idea. Like she can't even tell you she had wedding shit to attend to. Triss disappeared in the hullabaloo.
I'm glad I tested that coffee.
The coffee?
I mean, it was on the up and up, but still, I'm so glad I tested it.
So actually, we are ending it here with you guys being successful and saving the wedding, determining who was responsible for attempting to stop it, and discovering another mercenary company from south of the border.
Yeah.
Any questions you guys want before we wrap this up? Because where we start next week will be you guys.
Nope, I'll do my questions in Discord.
Where we will start next week is you guys heading to. Back to Harvest Hall.
Like we'd probably ask Alira where she took on her handmaiden and how that came to pass.
She says that she was hired some weeks ago, and that she was just someone who came highly recommended from a border lord.
Which border lord?
Yeah.
She says, Orsi, Sir Orsi, is the last name.
That is probably important for us to know.
Yep.
All right, so you guys are each going to get 50 experience points that you guys can spend. There will be some travel time now, and then after the next adventure will be for real downtime. You guys get to start thinking of any preparations or anything like that you want to do on the way over there. Channel announcements. Thursday night, Good Boys at 8 p.m. Eastern. We continue with our bank heist, now with our newfound allies in the form of some wild ass bank robbers that could not quite lay any damage down on us. Monday night will be the second to last episode of the Land of Grill and Steaks, run by Skull. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. Land of Ice and Snow will return on the 24th, if my math is right. And Unfortunate Sons will be back next week, again, Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And keep an eye out for some announcements regarding some one-offs that should be happening towards the end of May, beginning of June. Now, in the chat, I have just added the link to our merch. So if anybody has any interest in seeing what it is that we have available, we have some awesome shirts for Land of Ice and Snow and our 3B Radio logo. As always, thank you guys for watching, and good night, Gracie.
Night, everybody.
Nice.
Bye.
Night.